Hello everyone. Today is Monday, February 8th, 2016. And I want to talk to you about animals. Specifically having animals as pets. And even more so, parakeets and birds. You know, by the way, it's about 2 a.m. in the morning, so I have to be quiet. Throughout my entire life, I've been trying to justify whether or not certain animals or certain forms of life, whether it be plants or animals or fish, mammals, whether or not these creatures, these entities, these living beings are worth more than another living creature or being. You know? Like, my entire life I would step on a bug because it would be in my room, or I would kill a spider or a mosquito or things like this. And now I'm almost 25 years old. I turned 25 in June 2016. And I'm having trouble differentiating the value of a life. So, some of you may or may not know that for the past about 4 years, I've had birds. I've owned parakeets. These little birds, they're called budgies. And the first two that I got was a male and a female, and I named them Petrie and Jennifer. Okay? So, after I got these two birds, I brought them into my home. I was, I don't know, 20 years old, 19 years old. I don't know how old I was. But I brought them into my home. And my mother, she didn't want them. She's like, why would you get birds, like, why wouldn't you get a dog or a cat or some kind of other, animal? Why would you get parakeets, And I didn't really have a reason, I didn't really have an explanation, and I still don't, for why I got them. I was just in a pet store one day, and I stumbled across them. And there was a certain amount of situations, certain amount of variables that came together that made me buy them. So I bought two birds, and they ended up being male and female. I didn't really choose that because there were like probably about 50 of them in the cage in the area at the time, and the store owner just reached in the net and grabbed one and put it in a box, and then grabbed another and put it in the box. But luckily they ended up being a male and a female. So I left them at home because I was going to college and I was only going to be gone for a certain period of time. I believe it was in the spring of 2012, but I'm not sure. So don't hold these words as complete truth. And I remember my mother at the beginning, she was like, why are you, these birds? I don't want these birds, blah, 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 right? Because I was still in college. And I was there for, I believe, like 2 months until summertime came around, right? And at that point, my mother was like, I want to keep them. She fell in love with the birds. She fell in love with the parakeets. These little budgies. These little like $40 birds, $30 birds, $20 birds, however much they're worth. I said, no, you're not keeping my birds. I want to take them with me to college, right? I want to live with them. I want to train them. I want to become part of their lives. So I said, we can get you your own two birds, okay? So we got her two birds, right? We got her own two birds that she owned. And The first two birds were named Pikachu, like the Pokemon. He's bright yellow, and Bella. Well, the reason I'm making this video is because Bella passed away today. She was about 5 years old. And what happened was, Petrie, the first guy that I had, her and Petrie fell in love. And they mated with each other, right? But with parakeets, with birds in general, what happens is sometimes is when the female gets pregnant, she forms the egg. And the egg won't pass. The term is, I believe, egg bound. Egg bound. The egg itself attaches to the skin inside of the bird, and she can't pass it, right? So this actually happened about February 2015, about a year ago, actually. When I was in California, when I was in San Jose. And I noticed this. I noticed it in, like, March. I noticed that there was something wrong with her. I noticed that, like, her lower abdominal area was a little bit thicker than the rest of her body, and I didn't really understand what was going on. So I eventually came home, like in July or whatever of 2015, and my mother and I took her to the vet. You know, took her to the doctor to see what's up, see what's going on. They took an X-ray, and there's this big egg in there, right? And they said that if we don't do surgery in August, that she would be dead in 2 weeks. You know, they told us that she would be dead in 2 weeks. We went to 2 different medical doctors, 2 different MDs, by the way, medical doctors, MDs, and they both said the same thing. We got to do surgery, or she'll be dead in 2 weeks, right? But if we did the surgery, there's a very good chance, like a 90% chance that she would die. Anyway, so we decided not to do it and wait and just see how it would go, right? Well, here we are, February 8th, you know. It was actually February 7th, the day of the Super Bowl, by the way, the Broncos versus the Panthers, which I'm happy to say that the Broncos won. But at that point, you know, February 7th, my mom, I walked downstairs, and it's a Sunday, and my mother says, you know, go look at Bella. Go look at her. So I go over and I look at Bella, and the egg is out of her. It's hanging out of her, but it's still attached. I can still see that it's attached to her skin. So I knew right away we had to get her into the hospital. We had to get her into the doctors immediately, because it's hanging out, but it's still attached to her, and it's bleeding, and it's bloody, and it was terrible. So we went, we took her, and they said the same thing. We can either try the surgery, which at this point they said that it would be about $3,000, and she would probably die anyway, or euthanasia. And that's what my mother decided to do. So we had to put Bella to sleep today. But I should be happy because we got, 6 or 7 more months of life and happiness out of her than what the 2 medical doctors originally predicted. They said she had 2 weeks to live if we didn't do the surgery, and we didn't do the surgery, and she lasted about 7 more months, 6 or 7 more months. Happy, healthy life, living, enjoying her family, enjoying her friends. We have 14 parakeets, by the way. We have 14 now. My mother just kept buying them because she fell in love with the birds. But yeah, we had to put her down earlier today. Put her to sleep. And I'm making this video because it's like, to me, all life is the same. Plants, animals, humans. But I didn't always think that. I used to think that more intelligent life was worth more, somehow. Worth more than smaller types of life, like bugs and little creatures. I don't believe that anymore. So I wanted to say that I love you, Bella. I always have. I always will. And I love all types of animals. Whether you're a dog, a cat, a bird, or a turtle, makes no difference to me. It makes no difference. The vessel that you're in. And that's all I had to say. Okay? Take care, everybody. This has been your friendly neighborhood lion. And remember, no matter what, bring order out of chaos and light up the darkness.